Steele long, Membrey with 3 against him, and he beat the lot of them. And he struck it beautifully. That's a work of art. Straight over the goal umpire's hat.
Well, we are very grateful for the time of one of the leaders of the football club in Tim Membrey. It's been a difficult time for everybody in the AFL system, everybody in society for that matter. But Tim, thanks for stopping by. I guess, first of all, as we look over this last little period, in terms of contact with the club and things like that, we know you can't train with the group and stuff like that, but how regularly are the conversations around, we're hearing, a lot of the interstate players, you need to come back and get ready for training soon. Are you having meetings with the club sort of every week for updates? How does that look?
Yeah, so we're regularly, catching up via Zoom and doing these sorts of chats. But so every Monday we've organised this regular team meeting where everyone joins the team meeting, and I guess Rats sort of will go through what the week looks like in terms of training. And just like our individual skill work, and then a few other key leaders of the club will jump on and just give us, regular updates on where it all sits in terms of coming back to training, and whether it looks like we're going into hubs or those types of things. So, but the club's been very good in, giving us updates, weekly, and dealing with other issues that we might not be across. So they've been really good.
Well, you find the training by yourself. Is it easy to get motivated to do it yourself, or get out there, just go for a bit of a run? And is it?
Yeah, it's
easy
like,
to do.
Oh, it's certainly not easy to do. Yeah, it's one of those things. I guess for me, it's a little bit, easy just being in the system for a bit longer, and I guess it's sort of ingrained in me now just to be on top of those types of things in fitness and diet and that. But I guess we're still able to train with one other player at the moment. So, and the club's done a hell of a lot of work on, building their connection with the group. So, the players came up with just every training session, training with someone different, a younger guy training with an older guy, and just mixing it up, just making sure that the whole group is staying engaged with each other. So that's been very good. And, just seeing different faces, you're so used to coming into the club and seeing so many people and just having heaps of conversations, and then all of a sudden you're just stuck at home by yourself with, little contact. So it's still been okay, I guess, the training days, but, other days when you're just at home doing gym work, they tend to be long gym sessions because you just find yourself getting distracted.
Tim, at what point did you find out that round one was going to be it, and that when that siren went, that was going to be the last footy you'd play for a while?
Yeah, pretty much as soon as we walked off the ground, I started hearing some, whispers about, there's going to be a 10-week hold on the season and those types of things. And we played on the Sunday, so I guess there was another game to be played over in the West. But I think even halfway through that game, Gillard came out and gave an update on where the AFL sat. So, it was pretty much straight away after the game. I found out that, this is how it was going to be.
What was that experience like of round one? I mean, it looks like if football comes back, that's probably going to be something that you're going to have to get used to again with no crowds for a little while. But was it a case that maybe 10 minutes into the game it sort of settled into normal, or was it never really felt quite the same without spectators there?
It never really felt quite the same, I guess. Coming to the bench and, when you're actually not so, in tuned in the game while you're having a spell is probably when you notice the crowd the most. And for me, when it was on the bench and it was so quiet and you could just hear everything that the players were yelling at each other and that sort of thing, it probably really sunk in then that it was just certainly a strange situation that we found ourselves in. But it just didn't seem quite right. If that's what it's going to take to get football, I guess, back in some and then on our TV screens, and I guess we're just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, so you're pre-prepared to do it if it has to go that way. How will be that time away, do you think? There's obviously no one knows anything about how it's going to feel, how it's going to play out. But do you think you're prepared for it if it happens?
Yeah, well, I think now, it's been certainly a topic that we've discussed as a team, and that when we do come back, that's probably what it's going to be like, and that's going to be, I guess, the normal, probably for the remainder of this season. It's looking like that we might not see crowds for this season in stadiums, but we're just going to have to get used to it, which I'm sure we will, and we're already starting to do little things, adapting to these situations. So, it's just going to be the normal for this year, I think.
In terms of the training session that's kind of delivered to you guys on a Sunday night or Monday morning, has there been much of a response to that round one performance, or is it more kind of general maintenance, fitness, keeping, making sure that you guys are keeping fit and sharp and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, the group, the team was in really good shape, going into round one. We had a really strong pre-season. We had little injury. We had a really healthy list. So it's really just purely been on the back of just maintaining over these periods. And there was a challenging week there where we ramped up the training quite a bit, and we did 12 to 13K sessions. So they were, quite intense and tough. But I guess just the one thing about, training with one other player is you don't just quite get that game-like and game simulation training. So that's probably been one aspect that's been, the toughest. So just trying to, do what we can in terms of trying to mock, that situation. So, yeah.
You guys might get more direct information than us. We obviously hear 1,000 different scenarios, so it might be a pointless question, but we keep hearing about hubs, and obviously Western Australia haven't yet opened their borders, so they'd be in a quarantine situation. So it's likely that the Western Australian teams would have to leave their state. There was talk about the Northern Territory maybe even having crowds because of where they're at in terms of their lockdown situation. Yeah. How would you feel about hubs if the hubs weren't in Victoria? And by extension, is there, I guess, a consensus amongst the teammates that most people would play, or there'd be some that might be uncomfortable if it was 6, 8, 10 weeks somewhere else?
There certainly is. I guess you would have heard from, senior players around the league and that it's just, people, the guys with families, it's probably just the most common one that would be the toughest, being away for an extended period of time, away from family. For me personally, that's not the case, but, I'd be happy to do that if we had to do something like that. But certainly 21 weeks, in a hub, which was probably going to be, the worst case scenario, would certainly be quite tough doing it that way. But yeah, we've heard lots of things, about we've had players who have gone back home in Perth, and when they're coming back now to Victoria, they'll have to quarantine for 2 weeks. So, I think they are back now, so they'll be in there quarantining now for 2 weeks, which is important because, hopefully not too far away the season is up and running.
Yeah, you've obviously got to keep yourself entertained during this time. Who's the first person you'd actually jump on to, say, Zoom or something, to have a bit of a not good laugh with, or just something to get a bit of entertainment?
With the team's been catching up on a Saturday afternoon at about 4:00. So, whoever's available and wants to just jump on, have a quiet beer and talk a bit of crap, then most of the boys have been all for that. So, but yeah, there's been some quality banter on there. You can't get a word in. Though. When Dan Hannaber's on there talking, you can hardly get a word in. So you have to mute him sometimes.
Tomorrow night for us, so people probably watch this tomorrow. So tonight, if you're watching it, Friday night this week, the club's doing an event on Facebook or Instagram. Can you give us a bit of insight into what that looks like?
Yeah, basically it's just they've got Eric Banner coming down, and Lenny Hayes is going to be on the chat as well, I think. So they're basically just doing a big shout out to all the members who have stuck by the club. It's been a tough time for everyone in, those have been affected financially, and and more so, AFL clubs have been hit as well, just purely because of the membership losses. So it's basically just, telling people just to hang in there with us. It's not going to be too far away, and we'll be back hopefully playing footy in front of you guys on whether it'll be on TV. But yeah, just basically a big shout out to those guys.
Just as we let you go, we probably haven't done, in fact, anyone's really done any football analysis over recent weeks. It's all been about these possibilities. But I guess as we look at round one, there were some good signs, but some frustration in there as well. We probably could have buried the game just after half time with some opportunities in front of goal. But what's the assessment out of that? And I guess your new forward line partner, Max King, obviously getting on the board with a couple.
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of time to go over the game and review the game. So first half, yeah, certainly was very exciting. We played some really good footy and, put their defenders under a lot of stress. So the forward line was shaping up, or is shaping up when we get back and playing. It's exciting. We've got some speed in there with, Dan Butler, Jack Loney, and Dean Kent, and then obviously adding Big Maxi up there in the forward line. When he gets up and going, he's going to be hard to stop. So, and then I guess going on from that game in the back half, we probably just lacked our way with our ball movement going forward. They were able to go in at half time and probably address what we were doing well, and then they came out and I guess shut that down. So we probably lost our direct entry inside our forward line, and we struggled to find other ways to go in and score. So, and then they, on the flip side of that, they were able to rebound too easily and score at their end. So, certainly something we've addressed and looked at. Like I said, we've had plenty of time to, but hopefully when we get back out there, we can turn that around and start getting some wins on the board.
Well, Tim, thank you very much. We appreciate you jumping on tonight in the middle of all of this, which is obviously an uncertain period for everybody. Obviously, when you get back out there, we might not be in the stands, but you'll certainly have the support of the faithful. And when St Kilda next play in front of crowds, I'm sure plenty of us will be there. So thanks very much for joining us, and good luck for the remainder of the season, whenever that is.
No worries, guys. Thanks a lot for having me.